Greetings all! Today, we'll be examining the relatively common normal-type Pokemon Glameow, the Catty Pokémon, and its uncommon evolution Purugly, the Tiger Cat Pokémon. Fickle and a pain to deal with both literally and figuratively, the members of the Glameow family are rude felines that can make your life a bit hectic if you can't meet their personal demands.
Glameow have a traditional feline body form, with grey fur over most of their body, save for the white on the fluffy tip of their tail, the tips of their ears, mouth, and their three-fingered feet, taking on a quadrupedal stance with a tiny black nose and large curved ears. They have pink insides to their ears, as well as pink eyelids that frame their full whiskers and blue eyes with yellow sclera, and the tail is noted for its coiled spring-like form. Their evolved form, Purugly, have a similar but much larger, stockier body, with white patches of hair all over the front of their body and white stripes along their legs, as well as zigzagging bent whiskers. Their ears are much larger in size compared to the pre-evolved form, with large curved purple ends with a series of purple fur flanges on them. Their cheeks are notably covered with grey fur, their eyelids have turned the same shade of purple as their ear tips, and they tend to have a grumpy expression on their face at all times. Although Glameow and Purugly are not the most dangerous fighters out there among felines, and might be seen as even relatively normal in terms of their accessible attacks and techniques, at least outside the skewed gender ratio of 3 to 1 in favor of females, they do know one unique move that makes them perfect dark horse candidates for trainers on a budget: the hypnosis technique. Because these animals lack the move diversity needed to take on many opponents in the wild, they have been forced to develop secondary abilities that can effectively make them more powerful hunters and far more dangerous combatants. The hypnosis technique fits this bill perfectly and combines fairly well with their relatively high base speed stat. By staring directly into the eyes of the opposition suddenly and fiercely, Glameow and Purugly can temporarily induce a state of mental paralysis that puts the opposition to sleep. While this tends to be less effective against larger predators, it often does the work needed to capture small prey like Bidoof or Starly with ease.
In battle, this tactic proves to be equally effective at bullying around smaller opponents, but just as with wild Pokemon, tends to have little effect on much larger, more vicious opponents.
This attribute also works out well for them in terms of their basic combat attributes, as it allows them to steady their minds and avoid being confused easily, granting them access to own tempo as a base ability. There is a division here in terms of overall combat performance though, as well the lithe and agile forms of Glameow can grant them limber as another possible base ability, and the strong vision can give them access to keen eye as a hidden ability. At the same time, Purugly are better able to make good use of their stocky forms to resist extreme changes in temperature and tend to be much more rambunctious in a fight, granting them thick fat as a possible base ability and defiant as a hidden ability. As far as the stats are concerned, in the case of Purugly, these felines are on the weaker side, and the bulky forms do not readily translate into much bulk in either offense or defense, with most of their base stats being below average for fully evolved normal-type Pokemon. The only exception to this is their base speed stat, which at least allows them to move fairly quickly despite their size, and hopefully dodge at least some attacks to try and incapacitate the opposition with hypnosis. Glameow are highly valued among trainers not only because of their looks, especially in regards to the helical tails, but in some cases because of their extremely fickle natures. For pet-obsessed people, Glameow are absolute angels. As long as they are taken care of extensively and fed on time, these cats will purr affectionately and twirl their tails around like magnificent ribbons. If they are not fed on time or otherwise ignored for even a short amount of time, however, these felines will grow very spiteful and, in many cases, will hook their claws into their owners' noses in order to prove a painful point. Such a fickle nature makes these creatures popular among owners who prefer to have Pokemon and or pets with spicy personalities. But for most people, this often makes Glameow more trouble than they are actually worth. While these cats certainly can become more combat efficient when they evolve, the time beforehand can often prove to be too much for most trainers to handle. It is highly recommended that trainers avoid these creatures unless they have had past experiences with personality-driven Pokemon.
In order to make themselves more efficient hunters, Glameow do something in evolution that most felines do not do: develop a body that is packed to the brim with fat and muscle. Though this would seemingly make them slower, Purugly are actually faster than Glameow because of increased muscle mass within their legs. In addition, their bodies are capable of taking considerably larger amounts of punishment and can effectively deliver more forceful physical strikes up close.
The only major disadvantage that such a body provides is that it limits the mobility Purugly would need to learn the Sucker Punch and play rough attacks without artificial help, and therefore prevents their effective use. Instead, Purugly prefer to use their massive bulk to deliver point-blank body slam attacks to flatten opponents and crack weak armor. All of these attributes exist to not only allow Purugly to tackle larger, more powerful prey in the wild, but also to grant Purugly the bulk needed to do what they love to do best: steal the nests of other Pokemon. Extremely brutish by nature, Purugly hate to make their own nests, and instead will use their thick, compact bodies to literally bludgeon other Pokemon out of their nests if they find the space comfortable enough. If threatened, Purugly will attempt to intimidate their opponents by using their tail as a makeshift corset, squeezing their diaphragm and shifting much of their bulk to the front of their bodies. If this still does not do the trick, Purugly will try and stare down their enemies with a powerful glare before using their swagger and hypnosis techniques, the former learned immediately after evolution, to frazzle the opposition and set them up for a painful body slam attack.
I can understand that some people are willing to put up with the nasty behavior that these cats can often display, but when it comes to my personal position, I'd rather have to take care of a Persian, and that should be saying something about these beasts. Sure, they've got a gorgeous look to them as Glameow, and can be fun to play with if they're in a good mood, but I'd rather that my Pokemon didn't try and attack me just because I was late to give dinner, or didn't get them the right food, and so on and so forth. I mean, even Persian aren't always that bad. It's even worse because when many people don't mind Glameow and are willing to put up with them for their looks, everyone often just says no when they finally evolve, and that comes off as rude. Maybe Purugly don't exactly have the same look that many find appealing, but as much as I don't like them, there's still cats that can be affectionate if given the chance, and the larger body forms just make sense from an evolutionary perspective in the wild. Whether or not you can make do with their behavior is totally on you, but if you need a cat that can certainly defend itself well from intruders in your home, and maybe even squash them flat, then you won't find a better candidate than these bulky mammals.
While they might not exactly come off as the easiest of Pokemon to raise, the members of the Glameow family are still interesting felines that have a few tricks to work with when put into a combat situation. You might have to wait a while before they can actually make the most of this potential, but those who stick around might just find some use out of the interesting mix of attacks and techniques.
Just do yourself a favor and make sure to keep up with them and give them the food and affection they want to keep them happy. Skimp on it at any point and these cats may just walk all over you, and potentially break a few bones if one's Purugly decides to use its whole body to make a point on the matter.
Thank you for watching this video. It brings me great joy to be able to speak to you all in the world each and every time we meet like this, to explore the many different facets of both the world of Pokemon as we know it, and the world as we live it, through every adventure we have with Pokemon by our side. If you'd like to, please subscribe, ring the bell and all that jazz, to keep yourself updated on content uploads and other materials of the like. You can also follow me on Twitter if you'd like to know right away when something new is uploaded, and my written works, from which most of this is based on, can be found on DeviantArt. Links to both can be found in the description down below. Remember that the world of Pokemon is a place full of wonder and mystery, and you never know what to expect. So, stay vigilant, keep watch, and always be prepared for the unexpected. Until next time, trainers and friends of all sorts, have a wonderful time.